Hey guys, it's Hammond doing what I love, and for today for Movie Monday with Spider-Man Far From Home coming out earlier this month, Marvel Phase 3 is officially complete, so today I'm going to be ranking every Phase 3 film from worst to best, so let's get into it. At last place we have Doctor Strange. Even though it's in last place, there's still a lot of things I like about this movie. First of all, I love Benedict Cumberbatch in the role. I think he does a fantastic job. I love the chemistry he has with Benedict Wong's character, and I think this movie has some of the best visuals in the MCU. The reason, though, this movie's last place is that this is the film now where the Marvel formula kind of got stale, when the origin story kind of got a bit old, when the villain being the opposite of the hero thing kind of got a bit old. I feel like that a lot of the side characters besides Benedict Wong really don't hit it for me in this film. They just really didn't flesh those guys out enough. I also feel like that this film could have had a lot of great potential, but since it's so formulaic, that's why it's last. Next up is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. What Volume 2 does really well is the themes it has about fatherhood and the relationship with their kids. I really love Kurt Russell's ego, and I think him and Peter Quill have some really great scenes, and that's what really got me intrigued in the film. Also, what they did with Yondu was really great emotional beats. For me, the reason this film is so low is how it takes the characters splitting up. I get that the characters have to be split up, otherwise there'll be no conflict, no movie. But how they go from point A to point B with some of the characters in this story, I just didn't connect with it. Also, I feel like there's a lot of wasted potential for characters. Sylvester Stallone's character could have been really cool. He doesn't do anything. Mantis, I just really didn't connect with. Also, I feel like they could have used Nebula more. This movie just has a lot of wasted potential in it for me, but its themes of fatherhood keep it from being last. Next up is Captain Marvel. For me, this is an MCU prequel that does some things right and does some things wrong. First of all, I really love Sam Jackson, Brie Larson's chemistry. The comedic timings there, the way they quip with each other was really good. It felt natural. Of the relationship with Carol Danvers and her pilot friend and her daughter. I thought there were some really great, charming scenes. For me, what this film falters, though, is we see a lot of other characters that would say appearing like Guardians of the Galaxy, but they just don't flesh those guys out enough. They just kind of seem like wasted potential. Also, I feel like a lot of the other people in the movie, such as Jude Law's character in the Supreme Intelligence, that can just seem kind of a bit too cheesy for me, in my opinion. But Captain Marvel, the positives, somewhat do outweigh the negatives, so that's why it's not in the bottom two. Next up is Ant-Man and the Wasp. For me, what makes this film good is that it kind of sets its eye on a goal. We want to be kind of a fun MacGuffin movie. Here's this thing people need to get. Want to have some fun action, some nice humor. It's going to be nothing more, nothing less. And it nails that down perfectly. This movie was really funny. Not all the jokes land, but when they do, I had a really good laugh. The action is cool, kind of seeing more of the technology. I thought they did some really creative stuff. Also love the relationship between Hank Pym and Hope, the father-daughter stuff. I thought was really well done. What this film falters is kind of the character of Ghost. I just felt like the acting by that actress, she just really wasn't nailing down her beats. Also, I feel like Scott Lang, they make him too goofy. There's some things, yeah, okay, he's supposed to be funny, but sometimes it was kind of almost at the cost of his character. But still, I was enjoyed throughout this film. Next up is Black Panther. This is a film that I first saw, I'm like, oh, this is amazing. Great job. But then I rewatch and it's a bit lower. One of the reasons is pacing. I feel like we go from, high action and slow and then really slow. It doesn't go up and down even. It's too, it doesn't flow well enough. I also feel like the whole T'Challa dying and then him coming back, that just felt way too rushed, and you don't feel the impact of that. But for me, what this film does so well is the villain, Killmonger. Michael B. Jordan kills in this role. He is fantastic. I love what they did with the character. Also, this movie has excellent world building, seeing how Wakanda works. I really felt like I was living in Wakanda. So that's why I think this film has a good place on the list, but if it just fixed the pacing, it would be a bit high. Next up is Thor Ragnarok. Thor Ragnarok is a movie that I think its biggest strength is its biggest weakness. Yes, this film is funny. It has great action, great colors, but I feel like this is also a weakness in the fact that a lot of big emotional stuff happens in this movie. You know, Odin dies, Asgard gets destroyed, but I feel like we don't really sink in on those beats. They don't really dive into that. Instead of, let's just go to jokes and stuff. I like Hela as a villain, but I feel like she could have been a lot better. She's just kind of evil. She's also Thor's sister, which I forget a lot about because they don't do any emotional moments between her and Thor. But still, the main characters in the film, I just really love. Everyone here gets a great performance. Chris Hemsworth, I love what they did to the character of Thor. Him and Hulk just really funny in the movie. Also love Tessa Thompson as Valkyrie. I thought that was a nice surprise. Korg, Jeff Goldblum's character, just a lot of fun to be had in this movie. From Thor 3 to Captain America 3 was Civil War. Civil War for me is a film that just does the impossible task of taking two heroes, Iron Man and Captain America, and having them turn against each other. It does that so well. It hits the emotional beats perfectly. I mean, I just love it. That final scene with Iron Man, Cap, and Bucky, man, it is fantastic. I also love how this film introduces T'Challa and Spider-Man into the MCU. I was kind of worried about that going in when I first saw this film, but it does a really good job. It makes it seem natural. I love the airport fight scene. For me, with this film, and the reason it's not high is I feel like sometimes the stuff with the villain is a bit too complicated and kind of convoluted, but still the emotional beats outweigh that. Next up, we have the Webhead's first adventure in the MCU, Spider-Man Homecoming. For me, what Homecoming does well is I could, put this movie on with my mom and dad and my grandparents, and they could enjoy the film even though this is the middle of Phase 3. That's what I love. This is in the middle of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but this film is funny enough, has good action, has likable characters that I feel like even non-comic book fans could, enjoy, which I think is a big part of, the MCU film. Also in this film, Michael Keaton as a Vulture is fantastic. I love his motives. I like how simple they are. They just do a really great job with that. Tom Holland is fantastic. I love kind of the high school vibe, the way this film is edited. Kind of has that Ferris Bueller Day Off type of vibe. For me, this is a fun, great, enjoyable film. It's really rewatchable, and I'm glad that, they got Spider-Man right in the MCU. From one Spidey film to another, we have Far From Home. Far From Home is a movie that I just think they did a really fantastic job of having the events with Endgame and connecting them to this movie. The way they do that's fantastic. Speaking of fantastic, I love Jake Gyllenhaal as Mysterio. I think they just do really great stuff with him. I enjoyed him in the movie. I feel like a lot more than other people, but just the way they took his character was great. I love also the humor as well, and the action was really nice. I feel like this is a film that Marvel needs to get right with the transition, and they transitioned into a new era of the MCU very well. On the top two, we have Avengers Endgame. Endgame is a film that I feel like just really pays off the moments in the MCU. I am Iron Man before Iron Man dies. I love that moment, Ever since Iron Man 1, we've been building up. It's fantastic. We see Steve trying to lift Thor's hammer in Age of Ultron. He finally does. The Avengers finally assembling, just all those moments coming to fruition. I love how this film ends with Cap retiring. He gets to dance with Peggy. For me, though, where this film kind of is, why the reason it's not number one is I feel like sometimes the time traveling is a bit I think this film has some really cool moments with that when they go back to some of the movies. Like, I love the Guardians of the Galaxy time traveling section, but I feel like sometimes this film kind of gets a bit entangled in what it's trying to say. But when this moment's great, it's fantastic. Like the stuff with Howard and Tony Stark, really great emotional scene. This film just has a lot of fantastic moments, but the time travel weighs it down just a little bit, but it's still one of my favorite MCU films ever. Number one is Avengers Infinity War. Wow, what does this film do so well? Well, pretty much everything. First of all, I love Thanos in the movie. Josh Brolin gives, I think, one of the best performances in a Marvel movie. And I just feel like the way they fleshed out his character was so well done. This movie's called Avengers, but I feel like it's more of Thanos' movie. Speaking of the Avengers, I love what they did with the heroes. Okay, we have these group of heroes here. We have them here, we have them here. That could get kind of complicated, but I feel like it does that well. Establishes these heroes' relationships, and it builds upon that to make great scenes. The action's also fantastic. This is a film I rewatched the other day, and I just thought it was fantastic from the first start of the movie to the end. Well, guys, that'll do it for my Marvel Phase 3 ranking video. I had a lot of fun making this. I just love talking about these movies. Let me know in the comments below what's your favorite, what's your least favorite, ranking, stuff like that. I just love to discuss stuff in the comments. Until then, guys, this is my time and doing what I love. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.